Go. This is our Be Creative pitch. So what were we asked to do? At the start we were given a target audience of 16 to 22, aimed at students, and we were given 3 choices of what we could do for our production: online, TV documentary and a radio programme. They all had to be investigative and hard-hitting, but we decided to go for online, article and podcast.
So, to find out a bit more about our target audience, we split our research into a few sections: education, interest/opinions, occupation and social media. So for interests, we found out that our generation isn't really as passionate about anything as other generations. We found about like education, like most of our target audience is in school and in college, so they're obviously doing schoolwork. For occupation, we found out like that our target audience has part-time jobs and like what they earn. And for social media, we found out that our target audience is involved with social media a lot. Our target audience uses social media a lot, and all of this research helped us understand a bit more about our target audience.
Then we went on to idea development, and we sent out a survey asking some questions about our target audience, and we were able to find out results about what they were interested in and what they would find interesting. And then we went on to further research into articles. This really helped us with our productions because we were able to look at other professional pieces and steal ideas and steal creativity. Then we went on to further research, codes and conventions of an article. We were able to find out structural features of an article and how to write them.
So then I researched some already made professional podcasts. I listened to these 3. The first and third one are quite similar. What I liked about these 2 is at the beginning, when they're introducing the podcast and what they're going to talk about, they have snippets of the interviews, so it like prepares the audience for what they're going to all listen to. The first one and the third one also have pre-recorded interviews, and they include the audience, so they talk to the audience a lot, and they ask like rhetorical questions. The second one has live interviews. It's very formal and very understandable, and it's got a simple structure. I then researched, so the whole reason we're doing a podcast on sports and mental health is because recently a lot of sports stars have talked about their experiences with depression after retiring from sports. So like Freddie Flintoff, Johnny Wilkinson and Rio Ferdinand, they've all talked about their experience with depression, especially after retiring from sports. So this research helped us understand why people like these experience depression and mental health problems.
And then we went on to, these are our 2 interviewees, Charlie Swadley and Luca. I thought Charlie would be a great person to interview because he was very knowledgeable on the subject and he was really willing to help us out, find research. And he also did a experiment with us, which was a week-long recording where every day he recorded himself saying, well, he went a week without social media, and after each day he would do a blog saying how he felt and what changes he had to make during the day.
We also interviewed Luca for our podcast because he's an amateur tennis player. He's hoping to go on a professional tour, and we thought it'd be a good interviewee because he gave us some good personal experiences with mental health and what he thinks of it, and how sports helps with mental health problems. So we play our productions.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Luke Berkey,
And my name is Bartek Krupa.
And today we're hosting the hot topic of mental health and how it's affected by sport.
When you're playing sport, everything just goes away.
The exercise that helps that's from depression, or helps the most with depression, is any type of exercise.
So how much exercise do you need to fight depression? Well, one study found that 3 to 5 sessions of aerobic activity each week may be enough.
This week on the show, we're going to start off by talking about Johnny Wilkinson and his time suffering with depression. I'm going to hand you over to Bartek Krupa, who's going to go into this further. We're going to have a nice chat.
Yes, we will, Luke. So recently there's been a few big sports stars that have openly talked about their experiences with depression, especially after retiring from sports. One example is Freddie Flintoff. Flintoff retired from... I'm just going to show like the article. The introduction. The introduction. Should we play the interview?
My name's Charlie Swadling and I've given up social media for a week. I would say it's affected me mentally in a way that eventually, over the course of the week, it allowed me to realise that I could be more productive with my time. It made me realise that I do spend a lot of time on social media. I spend sort of hours on scrolling Instagram, Twitter, so I could go and do other things. I think it's only helped in a way, because it's unnecessary. You don't need social media. I can be more productive with my time.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, especially for someone as myself who spends hours on social media. I'm sure no other teenagers are much different. You know, I'm sure most people my age spend hours on social media.
So this is feedback we got from our peers. For the first question, I asked, does our production suit our target audience of 16 to 22-year-olds? The answers say that yes, they do suit the target audience of 16 to 22-year-olds because they're quite relevant topics to our age group or to our target audience. The second question we asked, does our production suit the codes and conventions of a podcast or article? So we did it for both of them. And the answers, one of them was, for the podcast it does because it's more of a conversation than a radio program. Radio programs, I think, include a lot of statistics and facts, but for a podcast it's more like a conversation, you're discussing a topic. And for the last question, we asked how we could improve our productions. One of the answers we got was make it sound less scripted, I guess. So make it sound more natural and not like you're reading it off a page. So we've got some improvements we could make for our final major project. So like organisation skills and just getting like the interviewing and filming techniques down. Also research, we need to research a bit more, and communication between the pair.
And then finally, our weekly blogs. These really helped us at the end of each week, filling them out, and we were able to reflect and understand what we've done during the week. And yeah, if we struggled on anything, we'd be able to look at what we've done and then write it down, and yeah, be able to improve next time.
Thank you.
Any questions?
What makes this work investigative? What have you found out that you didn't actually already know?
Well, we researched like the sports stars that have experienced depression, and like we talked about that in the podcast.
How is it investigative? What are you telling us that we didn't know already? What have you really got to terms with that wasn't out there already?
We talked about, for the article, we talked about how what parents can do to make sure their children don't spend too much time on their phones or on social media.
What about you?
Well, obviously it is known that celebrities do suffer with depression, or sports stars, but even though a lot of people don't know about it, even though they've gone from such highs in their careers, you don't know the insides and how they're feeling throughout their careers.
Like before a match as well.
Yeah.
What have you learned? What have you two learned about mental health issues and how exercise can help you? Through all the research that you undertook to produce this, what have you actually learned that you didn't know before?
The mental health helps with, exercise helps with mental health. Like it can reduce the risks of developing like mental health issues.
What do these production mean to you? Like, why have you done these productions?
It's just important that people know about.
And they're
How-
quite relevant topics as well.
Why are they relevant? Who told you they were relevant?
The news.
The news told you they were relevant. Good. Got 3 minutes to fill, boys.
Yeah, something that we could work on in our final major project. As Bartek said, the organisational skills. I find it really important that we keep on top of our work and that we don't fall behind. Because when that happens, you start falling behind on other things, and then that really reduces the quality of your work. And you'll not be able to showcase your full potential.
It's quite important to know all your work before you come to pitch it as well, isn't it? Otherwise you stand here 8 minutes in for a 15-minute pitch. Stuck.
Yeah,
Thanks,
another thing we could.
Go on. Go.
Ed,
Go on. What are you going to say?
say our filming skills. In the interview, when we did the interview, we looked at the after filming, we thought it was all focused. However, when we came to editing it, it wasn't completely crisp. So I think that's something we could work on to perfection our final project.
Is it fair to say that that's not the first time that's happened to you boys, though? Throughout the year that you've been here?
What, like filming?
Yeah, and then realising it's not quite what it looks like.
Yeah.
So you really do need to learn that for your final project.
Yeah.